We're Batman at 89. Greetings, citizens of Gotham, and welcome once again to Batminute 89, the show that you can trust to turn up at least. I'm not promising anything else. I am one of your hosts, John Parker.
And I am the other host, Niall McGowan. I should note that sometimes we do have technical problems where the episodes may be late up, but we have always had them up on the day. So,
yes, we're always there for you. Yes. And we're always here to help out, you know, in times of great peril and need.
Well, I don't know about peril. It's like, I'm not going to step in if anyone's in peril. Unless, it's a very easy fix. Then I'd be a bit of a if I didn't, but,
we are the heroes now. Shush. And we are joined today by a very special guest. We have comedian, actor, and puppeteer, that's amazing, Phoebe Bottoms.
Hello, everybody.
I would ask you to do some puppeteering, but I don't think that'll come across well on the podcast.
I mean, I've been doing it this whole time. It's just nonstop with me and the hand talking, ladies and gentlemen.
Maybe are you one of the puppets? We're not actually speaking to the real Phoebe.
That's part of the mystery and the general allure of having me on as a faceless guest.
Oh, who have we got? You never know who you're going to get.
You never know. It could be me. It could be a stuffed animal with a hole in the bottom.
It's kind of like at some point it's just going to get to like there is no longer any Phoebe. It's just all puppet.
It's just slowly consuming my body.
Where does the puppet end?
I just take a puppet off and there's another puppet underneath it.
Oh, that'd be a great horror movie.
Yeah,
someone who's into puppeteering, yeah, and they get so into it. And it starts physically consuming them. Yeah, they take it off and it's still there when they look back at that.
Have you guys seen The Beaver? It's not the same thing by any stretch of the imagination, but it's pretty great.
That's actually where my mind went as well. It's like, oh yeah, The Beaver is kind of like, and the thing is, it's like you feel guilty for saying it, but like, yeah, The Beaver's like a really good movie, but it's like you can't say it because it's Mel Gibson. But like, sorry, but it's not Jodie Foster directed it. It's her movie, but he happens to be the main guy.
There's like underground groups meeting every week just to be like, yeah, dude, it's not bad, and they're all trying to figure out if it's good or not, if it's actually like good or if they're just being deceived somehow.
I remember when it came out specifically because I think it was literally that was supposed to be the kind of one of the big relaunches of Mel, and then that whole the leaked audio from that phone call to his girlfriend came out, and then it was just like, oh no, this guy. But I remember the Beaver was like literally out maybe like the next month, and there was an interview in Total Film with Jodie Foster. And she was just like, yeah, this movie's dead. She's like, I don't even know why I'm talking to you about it. It's just like, I know, like Mel's my friend. I'm not going to say anything bad about him here, but like this movie's not going to do anything. So there's no point in me promoting it.
That's such a shame. I really feel for her there. Oh, well, welcome to the Beaver Minute. We are looking at minute 95 of the Beaver. No, this is Batminute 89.
Yeah.
And yes, minute 95. It starts with a paparazzo attack. And it ends with the Batwing dominating the skies of Gotham.
That's very poetic.
Yeah. I do have to say, like, first thing, do a little split second again of Vicky taking these snaps, and then we got the triumphant return of Alexander Knox. And then he comes out with this line, which there's so many layers to it, I think. It's like, take the pictures. Get them, take the pictures. Gotham's greed. I was like, you judgmental prick. It's like there's a bunch of poor people trying to, like, someone's throwing out money in the crowd. You're judging them for trying to get the money.
Oh my God, dude.
Yeah,
if someone like was throwing, if someone dropped a dollar bill, I'd be like, oh, I trust you implicitly. I don't care. I'm so broke. I'll take what I can get.
I'm having that, yes. Well, that's the thing. He doesn't know what's going on in these people's lives. It's already established that Gotham's pretty, downtrodden. They're all probably, down on their luck. They're maybe out of work. You're going for that cash. Screw you, Knox.
Course,
and plus, he's being greedy. Why is he there taking pictures, really? To make money. It's his job.
Yeah, and I guarantee, because Vicky's there, If she wasn't there, he'd be over there, the hat off, trying to scoop money out of the sky. It's all bravado of like, oh yeah, Gotham's green. It's like, you lying sack of crap. You may gather, Phoebe, we don't have a lot of time for Knox. Although we did come around to him a little bit, but now he's back to square one with me with this line.
I'm fine with that. I can live with that for sure.
Do you have any strong feelings on Knox yourself throughout the movie, or are you just like, he's just...
That's a good question. Let me think about it. Let's review throughout the course of this this next episode, and I'll come to a verdict at the end.
Oh,
yeah.
That's a good approach, I think, because it's a roller coaster with him. One minute you kind of like him, you're like, oh, he's all right, and then the next minute he just screws you around mentally, and you're like, nope, this guy's a jerk again.
I have noted as well, maybe we should probably cut this bit out, but like I only noticed the other day that Robert Wool's on Twitter. Maybe if we reached out to him, Robert Wool might actually come on the show.
That's a great idea.
Are you suggesting that he's not already listening, Niall? He's a big fan.
The thing is, if he is listening, the amount of shit we've given Knox.
That's a character, not the actor.
I think we even did jokes of like, if Robert Wool wanted to come on the show, we'd be like, oh, all right. Like really, like joking around, because of course we'd love if he came on, but we're a bit like joking around like, oh, who would want him? But now it's like, oh shit, maybe we could.
But, speaking of joking around, we get a zoomed-in shot here through Vicky's camera of a Joker goon dancing away.
Yeah. One thing, because it's linked to the two shots as well. Because the shot of Knox, in the background there, we're seeing a part of one of the floats, and it looks like a giant Smartie. We'd call them in UK Smartie is the sweet. I don't know in the US if it's a different name to them. But they're...
I'm trying to think.
So it's just kind of hovering midair there. But like I think even me saying Smarties on it, I haven't said the name of the sweet in so long. It's like it feels weird saying it. But I don't know if you have it in America. It's like a little, like kind of sugar coated chocolate discs, and they're all different colors, and they come in a tube.
Sprees?
Could be. Maybe that's the American equivalent. Yeah.
This needs a Google.
Get your research and development team on it.
This is like the amount of things of like every point like has to be brought up later again. It's just like opinion and Knox, save it. What is the Smartie? A same thing as that? Save it. We have to look up the...
It looks similar. They're even more disc shaped than our Smarties.
Super disky.
But yeah.
Well, do your Smarties have like the indent in them where you can kind of like rub your fingers on them and it feels real fun?
No, if anything, it's the other way around. They bulge out in the middle.
Really? Yeah. What a turned around country you live in.
Everything's backwards.
Yeah, literally. That's the inverse of what we have. And honestly, I would say maybe had we lost the revolution and we're still under the Queen's control, I don't think that's too bad of a compromise to make. I like the idea of a rounder Smartie.
They're very nice, and I see what you mean now. That does look like that. You're not wrong.
Yeah. But then, because we move on to the Joker Goon dancing, we'll note in a little bit of continuity to our own show. That's the guy. Remember we were talking about in Party Man, who didn't get to really dance, or didn't get to really trash anything in the museum because he was holding the champagne and the pail. So it's kind of like this guy's getting to go to town now because he's probably busting
it's his moment.
Yeah,
this is my moment.
They got to work in shifts,
Yeah, you're on dance duty. You're on guard duty.
You're on money tossing duty. You're on noxious gas duty.
I wonder if they have like a rota. Like, have you checked the rota for this week?
There's just a chore wheel.
But then he's surrounded by, like I don't mind stepping up and just saying it for everyone, the worst sweets in the history of mankind. Licorice all sorts.
This is, again, only going to apply to the UK.
What on earth is a licorice all sort?
You don't want to know.
Oh, contraire, mon frère.
Is
it like a Good and Plenty?
It's like, whatever terrible sweets you would have got at your grandmother's house. That's what a licorice all sort is. Like it tastes like
wait,
that.
I think I might. Is it like a colorful coat circle with black licorice inside?
Yes.
Yeah. That's the one.
Oh my God. I had a friend. So when I went to London and lived there for like a month, I had a friend in LA who who asked me to go to a candy store and get her those.
Why?
And I had to scour them. I don't know, because I tried it when I was done, and it's just a bigger Good and Plenty, which, if you don't know, they're like super skinny little cylinder guys with just a strip of black licorice in the middle.
Yeah.
I'm not a licorice fan.
At all, or do you like red licorice, or just you don't like the black licorice?
I think I wouldn't really even call the red one licorice, though, because it doesn't really even remotely taste like it to me. So the red one's fine. The black one, it's like eating mud or something. I can't stand it.
Is that your primary licorice over there? Is black licorice?
Yeah.
Oh my God! Wow. Oh wow! What a sorry lot that is. No, over here it's their primary color is red, and it is delicious. I don't know the last time I've seen black licorice sold in a public place.
That's because it's clearly for grandmothers, as Niall says.
Then it's like carting them into the old folks' homes. It's like, they're the only people who want them.
Over here, it's all Withers Originals. Old people in America love butterscotch.
Oh, they love that here too, but I'm going to sound old. I love them. They're great.
I do too. That's not an elderly thing to love. I literally have a giant sack of butterscotch hard candies in my cupboard right now.
Yes.
I could go get it and crinkle it around in the microphone so you don't think I'm lying to you.
No, that would get me going. I'd have to stop the podcast for a bit.
But I think the fact that he's surrounded by licorice all sorts is an indication, like, again, it could add into the whole Smarties thing. It's like, because this was filmed in the UK. It could be that, like, they had, like, we've got, like, Tim Burton was like, I need some floats. And they're like, well, we've got old floats from, the Sweets Parade or whatever. And it's like, we have one of the licorice all sorts, and there's ones of Smarties there and stuff. Maybe that's why that is. And, like, Americans could be sitting looking at, what the hell are these sweets that these guys have got?
I cannot think of a single human being on the face of the earth who would love those candies more than Tim Burton, though.
I could picture him importing them. Yeah, absolutely.
Exactly. They're like, what's a good comparison? They're like how, not Edward Scissorhands, but maybe like a lesser Tim Burton movie would taste.
Dark Shadows? Or...
Dark Shadows, yeah.
Yeah, what's that stupid one with the thing with the big eyes? Is it just called Big Eyes?
Yeah, but I like Big Eyes, though.
Was it good? I didn't see it.
It was one of the ones that the shocking, like, the thing is, it's not great, but it's better than a lot of the stuff he's done recently, so it's like, that's pretty good in comparison. But,
that's not saying much, though.
Yeah.
Oh, we sound like we're being really harsh. We like Tim Burton. Oh,
I
sorry.
love early Tim Burton. Before Tim Burton realized he could do his doodly nonsense with CG, practical effect Tim Burton is excellent. It's excellent. Nightmare Before Christmas, great. Edward Scissorhands, great. Anyway.
I hate to bring it up because everyone does this, but my biggest problem with movies is the CGI. Like, I know everybody says that. Maybe I'm getting old. But, as of recording, the new Star Wars just came out. I won't say any spoilers, folks.
That's the thing.
Worry.
I was like, tread lightly, John, because God knows.
Tread lightly. But,
Wait, there's a new Star Wars out?
Well, my problem with it, I mean, I love it. I think it's fantastic. I thought it was a great movie. My one complaint, if I'm being picky, too much CGI. And it's the same with Tim Burton. Yep. Like, if he didn't rely on that because before he had to be more creative. He had to think about it more. Whereas now, when you're free to do anything you want, sometimes that's not a good thing.
No. I think working within the constraints of reality are what make movies fun. I mean, you look at the first Star Wars, and it's all Muppets. And it tricks your mind because it's real. So even though it's, even though for a fact it's not like a living, breathing thing, your brain still processes it as something physical and tangible, which is exciting. There. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So,
it has weight. You can feel the weight.
Yeah, and you know that the person is looking at a thing. I always get taken out of CG because I am trying to figure out what it was like for someone to act with a green person in a green suit with ping pong balls all over them.
or a tennis ball on a stick.
Yeah.
And sometimes that's all the creature is.
And that I feel like you can see it in people's eyes, you know? Anyway.
Yep, 100%.
There's my screed.
So screw CGI.
I had a thing as well, like when just even some people like, oh, you can tell it's a puppet as well. But I used to always have the kind of thing of like when I was particularly worked when I was a kid. You see the first Gremlins, and a lot of the time when they move, it's kind of a jittery stop motion thing. And my head is like, oh, that's just how that creature looks and moves.
Yeah, exactly.
It's a real thing, but it just happens to, you could say like about like the original Yoda. It's like, oh, he's got weird like puppet eyes, but it's like that's just how that creature looks. It looks like it's got puppet eyes, like it's but it's still a living, breathing thing. It just happens to look a bit like that.
From experience, I'll tell you that there's this really, really weird suspension of disbelief that people have with puppets. Like I'll be puppeteering. I've done like charity events and stuff with kids, and there's like adults too, where you walk around and you're puppeteering, and people just hyper focus in on the puppet and kind of forget that a human being is there. And it's amazing. So I think that it's a lot easier to trick your brain into watching something be manipulated by another human being because there's expression in it, and there's kind of like you're shooting like empathy up into, whatever the creature is, instead of it just being a bunch of like ones and zeros that might look convincing.
I think. I'll probably have to cut half of what I'm saying, to be honest, because it won't be as good as what you just said. But I think CGI works well when it complements a scene or a character. Like, you can add to it, but don't rely on it.
There's a place.
Like you can do backdrops with it.
Yeah, there's a place and a time for it, absolutely. But I think that especially with something like Star Wars, when the precedent was set initially in those movies, it was these like incredibly real creatures, and there was real thought put into it, and I don't know, it falls short,
Yeah, but it's my complaint, not with Star Wars, it's my complaint with movies.
Yes, absolutely.
Like, so I'm sick of bringing it up now, basically, because every film I come out, I'm like, that was really good. Too much CGI, but it was really good.
Here's a good
every time.
I think a good example of like how CGI can work is Where the Wild Things Are.
Yes, perfect.
Because they tried so hard to use real puppets, but the heads were too heavy because the mechanics were just like, it took so much to put into the heads. But they ended up then using those as the direct model for what was in the movie. So it looked incredibly realistic because there was actually something to base it on that was physical. So that's why the hair is so fine, and I think it's the most amount of hair that they've put on a creature, something.
Whoa, I can imagine that being true.
Yeah, they're really cool. I saw, I trained at Henson for 6 months, and in the lobby there, they have the main Wild Thing head hung up, and it's the coolest thing I've ever seen. They also have a Skeksis, which is really fun to see in real life. Yeah, it's awesome.
Amazing.
Yeah.
No, Niall, you have to go.
Because no,
yes,
ruined that film. For me. Can't. Every bit of praise that Dark Crystal gets, I'm like, yeah, but that noise.
But that noise, that's so funny.
I love the noise. I love it. How did we even get onto this? Well, we talked about the parades. Oh God, yeah.
We started talking about those gross black licorice candies.
That was it. I had a thing here, right? The Joker Goon, he's dancing almost as bad as the Joker, right? So it came to my mind, like, why are the Goons so lame, right? Because hear me out. Joker's gone to the effort of all the branding or whatever, but he hasn't given his own guys a makeover. Like, they just look like the previous gangsters he stuck a jacket on. Why has he not, like, got a cool motley crew of scum and villainy, like these mad punk haircuts and things?
They seem pretty disposable. I feel like it's kind of like a Vietnam situation where you don't want to get too attached to anyone because they could be gone in, like, a day.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, maybe that's what it is. It'd be too much time and hassle.
Yeah.
Like
trying to build an image around your henchman, and then all of a sudden it's, like you go on the field 15 minutes later, Batman killed him.
Yeah, I think you're onto something.
Yeah, then it's a waste of resources and time. And also emotionally, it kind of wrecks you a little bit. It's like naming a pet,
So you don't name pets?
No, my dogs,
Pet one.
I have just guttural sounds that I call my dogs, and I'm completely unattached to them in every way.
Oh,
I do wonder though if that's why the sunglasses are part of the uniform. It's just like I don't want to see the eyes, and if you put sunglasses on them, it's just like they're all kind of interchangeable. It's just a mesh of guys in the same jacket with sunglasses. So it's just like, who cares about which one of them dies and stuff?
except for Bob.
Yeah, Bob. Yeah, Bob gets special privileges. So
He gets a hat. I mean, that's pretty cool.
well, also Fedora Goon also gets a fedora. But,
oh yeah, true. There is another one. True. Completely forgot about that. But then, it's here.
And talking about practical effects, we got a big blast of practical effects right here and now.
The Batwing.
Yeah. Interestingly enough, this is the first time it was called the Batwing as well, which is a thing.
Oh.
Yeah, apparently before that was the Batplane. Tim Burton comes along, Batwing. This actually sounds cooler, so fair play to him. So
Much cooler. But the first thing that came to my mind when it popped up was, where does he keep it? Right? Because is Wayne Manor like Tracy Island or something? Like, where does he store the Batwing?
as I recall in Batman Forever, you see that it's hanging upside down in the cave like a bat, which was pretty.
That's ridiculous.
I thought it was pretty cool, man. Come on, but like I don't know if that was like the grand leap in technology from 1989 to 1995. But
so it is like Tracy Island then. So it's a Thunderbird situation.
yeah, I guess so. Yeah.
Jesus Christ. I did look it up. I had a couple of facts on the Batwing,
very good.
which are probably not as in depth as yours now, because you've probably got all the history of the Batwing.
I got a bit. We got a lot of Batwing, so again, having to spread it out over some time,
Well, I got I found out the wingspan, because the wingspan of the Batwing is 35 feet, which sounds pretty compact to me. It's pretty small. Because the largest living bird's wingspan was recorded at 11 feet 11 inches on an albatross.
Oh. Good for them.
So it's that's pretty big. I mean, a Cessna 172 has a comparable wingspan of 36 feet and 1 inch. So it's kind of the same size as that little plane.
I'm fine with that. That checks out.
Yeah, no one's going to question me. It's true, I promise you. But yeah.
It's as true as the crinkling Werther's Originals packet that Phoebe was talking about.
Well, you go and you rent out a Cessna, and I'll prove it to you.
This is every time anyone ever says talks about the wingspan of anything too, I just instantly get Toy Story like impressive wingspan, very nice. Well, there's go-to quotes in my head.
Another thing I thought of as well when it popped up. Do you think that Bats came up with the Batman logo first, right? Or the Batwing first and then based the logo on it? I couldn't decide. I was torn.
Wait, one more time?
Do you think Batman came up with the Batman logo first? Like, because he's got it on his chest and stuff. Or do you because it's basically the same as the Batwing. Or do you think he made the Batwing and then based his logo upon that?
Oh, a real bat before the egg situation. Which came first?
Bats come out of eggs, yes.
I would love to see a notebook full of doodles of him trying to figure out like what everything should look like.
That's our favorite thing to think about, I think, in this movie. Batman sitting down and like coming up with these things in a sketchbook. Like, you know what'd be cool if it looked like this.
Yeah. I don't know. I mean, I feel like the wings are sort of universal, right? Because they look like a regular old Batwing.
Sort of.
But not really.
I
don't know.
Yeah.
See, I would theorize that it was the logo first and then the plane. Only because this version of the Batman logo on his suit, as we covered way back when, has additional little prongs at the bottom that they get rid of in the second movie.
Oh.
So it would seem like he came up with that, and then for whatever practical purpose, when building the Batwing, he's like, that was either too difficult to make, or he had no use for it, or it was provided air drag or whatever. And he's just like, lose that. And then it's like, I'm going to make a universal thing. I'm going to get, in my next bat suit, I'm going to get rid of those little things, the little bat feet that I have in this one, and make it much more uniform overall.
Yeah, I could buy that. And also, although it's the first movie, it seems to have a grand entrance even for Batman. He's kind of showing off, like, look at my new toy.
I would do the same thing, though. I mean, I got a Prius. I got a used Prius and felt kind of similar. Where it's like, hey, look at this new thing that I got. It's not shaped like any kind of, any kind of animal. I guess at most it kind of looks like a manatee. But it's not like a blank mobile, It If I had like a plane that looked like a doodle that I drew, I would I'd be showing it off everywhere.
To be honest, I'm like that with anything new. If I buy a new jacket, as soon as I leave the store, I put it on in the street. I'm like, look at my new jacket, yeah.
I was imagining though, like both Phoebe driving around the Prius and John with his new jacket, like turning corners and just hearing.
That's what I play in my headphones when I'm walking around with the new jacket on.
Beautiful.
You know, I always play in my head when I'm walking through any crowd is the asteroid field music from Empire Strikes Back. When I'm in a hurry to get somewhere through a crowd, I'm constantly going like.
I thought you were going to envisage yourself at the end of Staying Alive.
Oh no!
Strut. You just strut down the street with the tune in your head.
I love a strut.
Tragic enough.
I love going on a jaunty strut.
Hell yeah, that's my favorite hobby. I think strutting.
I just wish my legs were longer so I could reach them out further in front of my body while I walk. Do you know what I'm
Just a
talking about?
giant stride.
Yeah, that's like a total strut. It's like the further you can get your legs out, and not like a goose step, but you gotta get a lot of wiggle in there too.
Well, especially not a goose step in this day and age. That'd send a bad message.
boy.
No politics.
But talking about strutting though, because I think this is a bit of peacocking on at least the model maker's part. So you should say, this version of the Batwing was created obviously by Anton First. Done a lot of work on them
Again,
yeah, of course. And a fellow called Derek Meddings, who also tragically has passed away in 1995, but also worked on GoldenEye, was his last feature. Several people in the movie have been in GoldenEye. He was in.
I just watched GoldenEye again for the first time in a long time. It's so good.
Oh, it is good. I'm surprised that it kind of holds up. I mean, it feels old. It feels of the time,
Totally.
but in a good way.
And other things he's worked on, Hudson Hawk, other Bruce Willis movie. We're just talking about Bruce Willis earlier. Never Ending Story 2 and 3. Not the first one, weirdly enough. Krull, which we were talking about this morning, John, which is another weird one.
Yeah.
And actually, appropriate enough, well, one worked on Superman and Superman 2 and 3. And Supergirl. And then started off, actually, appropriately enough, as you talking about Tracy Island, on Thunderbirds. That's where that was the beginning of his career, so there you go.
There you go. Bloody hell.
Also did some stuff with Captain Scarlet and the Mysterons, which is, I don't know, I've got really kind of intrigued again by Captain Scarlet recently. So just by the Mysterons, because I like that idea of, like, the disembodied lights were the villain. It was just a creepy voice and lights that would go across the wall and stuff. It's like, that's a really cool idea for a villain. I think when I was a kid, I didn't like it because they weren't tangible. But as I'm older now, I was like, oh yeah, it's a really spooky idea that they're just like, you never see the Mysterons and stuff.
No, I really like that. I think that's very cool.
But sorry, that was a random. That was a very much a complete side tangent there altogether.
That's our other podcast.
Mysteron minutes.
I did look up the models of the Batwing. Did you have anything on that?
No, but go right ahead. Whatever.
I mean, it's just this is actually just trivia. It's not funny.
No.
I think I like learning trivia more than I like humor. And that's a bad place to come from me. My set, when I do stand-up, is just a bag of Snapple caps, and I just take them out and I read the facts on them and I throw them away. Standing ovations every time.
Just imagine you come out with a puppet and just been like, did you know that in Chinatown, Jack Nicholson actually got his nose cut open? And just with like, the kids all sitting around looking at the puppet going, what's Chinatown?
I was trying to think, sorry, this is a total deviation again. I was trying to think of a movie that has the same kind of deep, horrible ending to it as Chinatown, and I cannot come up with one.
Yeah, I remember when I was in university and we had the film course I was on, and we had screenings on Monday mornings, and one Monday morning they showed Chinatown.
Oh, what a way to start the day. Jesus.
Yeah, start a week. I mean, Jesus Christ. You just walk, everyone's marching out, just the head down. The only thing about as close, I think, was the film the next week, which was Midnight Cowboy, which is another kick in the balls ending. Although that's just like, oh, a guy dies. It's nowhere near the same level of like...
Literally every part of it, of how it ends is... I've never finished a movie and felt like I literally was punched in the throat. Like, not the stomach. Like, I've had movies like, oh, that's, wow. But, like, someone had just taken a full knuckle punch right to my trachea. It is so depressing. And so, there's so many dimensions to how bad it is. Anyway, sorry, you could also cut all this out.
We say that for the next, the most depressing podcast we'll be doing, Chinatown Minute, where it's just like
every 3/4 of the episodes are just him walking around.
I'd still tune in. I'd still listen to that show. I can't stop. I'm addicted. Well, with regards to the Batwing,
yes,
they made it says at least 5 models. There's 5 that they know of, but nobody's confirmed if there's more. And they're all various sizes and scales, but only one of them was made in full scale, which is the one, spoiler, that you see burning on the cathedral steps.
Oh, no.
Yeah, but there's also an 8-foot fully automated model, a 2-foot model, and a 1-inch model, which is insane. Like, why?
Yeah. I gotta cover your bases, I guess. Just
also just to prove that you can, right?
Yeah, why not? And apparently people have noted the similarity between the Batwing's targeting computer and the one in the X-Wing in Star Wars. So we'll have to look out for that, Niall. I can't say I've ever noticed it, but it came up as trivia. It's almost exactly the same as the X-Wing.
I can imagine during that week of all that stuff, we're almost definitely going to be doing like a almost there, and then I can't shake him, and all that sort of stuff. So,
but then we get something I'm obsessed with. Right, but it's amazing because the Joker now says it's time for Who Do You Trust? Hubba, 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 money, money, money. Now, I thought, what the hell is he talking about? I had to look into it. Did you find out now? Because I did, but I don't want to steal your thunder.
I know it's a Nicholson improv anyway, because it's not in the script. He just does a Who Do You Trust? And then it goes into me, but the hubba, 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 money. But no, I didn't look into that. What is it?
Well, I mean, the hubba, hubba, hubba thing, I have no damn clue what that is. That's just him being crazy. But I didn't know that Who Do You Trust is a game show.
Is it? Oh, right. So I was thinking this is a bit of a weird side tangent that the Joker has just done. This is like how many rounds of this was he planning to play? It's just like, who do you trust? Donald Trump on Twitter or a baby with a bucket of bleach? Who do you trust?
I researched the show. I won't read the whole thing, but it's you've got 3 couples competing on each show. It says nearly always a man and a woman chosen for their unique backgrounds. So, okay. And the announcer would introduce couples one at a time. And it says Carson, which is Thingy Carson. What's his name?
Johnny Carson.
Johnny Carson. Yeah. He would actually spend more time interviewing the contestants than actually playing the game. I think that was part of the fun, was just like, let's just chat to these people and occasionally ask them some questions. I've got information on the whole game show here, but I don't think it'll be that interesting to people, to be perfectly honest. It's very dull. It sounds like it might be a fun show, but I'd never heard of it before.
It might be one of these things. It's like this was a thing from Jack Nicholson's past or something. Well, actually, no. As I said, it was in the script.
It started in 19. I've got it here. 19. I think it's 50s. It is. So it is an old show, and it ran for a very long time. But the setup of it, something I found quite odd, was basically in the quiz portion. It says Carson would tell the male contestant the category of the upcoming question, and the man would then have to decide whether to answer the question himself or to trust the woman to do so, which is a very sexist way of putting that.
Yeah.
So that's the gist of the show. Like, well, do you want to answer it or do you trust your wife?
Well, Phoebe, you're the American here.
Boy, am I.
Have you come across this? Yeah. Are you?
I mean, look, let's not question my residency quite yet. I might flee pretty soon.
We hear sirens in the background.
But with living within the country for a period of time, have you ever come across this Who Do You Trust business, or was it long off the air by the time you came into this world?
I think I missed it, to be honest with you. The Who Do You Trust craze surpassed my look. I came around for Nickelodeon. There wasn't a lot of trust there. All the content that I had was like very, look, if you trust me, you do. If not, who cares? It was very laissez-faire, my upbringing in this
That's the best
in
attitude.
This country. Yeah. Also, like, I was born and had Clinton for my first president. Couldn't really trust him. Then I had Bush. He was horrible. Couldn't trust him. Obama for the first time, I was like, oh, finally somebody. And then and now look where I am. I trusted too much and I got burned. So does that answer?
That should teach you not to trust.
Yeah, does that answer the question at all? I know it was taken into a more like literal umbrella of what it really means emotionally. But
yeah, let's delve into the concept of trust.
Oh, may we? No, but like in terms of like content and media, I was not given any exposure to a trust-based song or video.
The thing is now, though, we got the opportunity. But like 2 years from now, we could be seeing a revival of Who Do You Trust with Phoebe Bottoms and you coming out doing like trying to read off the cue cards, but like hubba, hubba, hubba.
Money.
Who do you trust?
Oh, I love it.
You'd have to change it, though. It couldn't be done on gender like that. That'd be strange. I think it should be who do you trust, yourself to answer the question or the puppet?
Oh, I see. A real split thing.
And the puppet can be manned by an anonymous celebrity every week. That'd be a great show. But he does ask again, who do you trust? He says, me, I'm giving away free money. And where's the Batman? He's at home washing his tights.
My favorite line of any video.
Really?
It's a fantastic line, but I have issues with it. Multiple issues.
Go on. As any great line should have some controversy surrounding it.
Exactly. I mean, what makes a great line? You need the ability to analyze it and tear it apart. Now, first off, what is inherently trustworthy about giving away free money? That seems more suspicious to me than anything else.
It's like one of the most it's one of the most questionable things. It's just like
he's obviously getting something out of it.
I think it's almost it should have been more like, who do you prefer? I'm giving away free money. It's like, who do you trust? More questions than the trust.
Well, and then the way he attacks Batman as well, right? What is untrustworthy about doing your laundry?
To me, it seems a lot like a situation where some parents have split up and they're trying to the dad is trying to win the children
Who do you like
over.
more?
Here, do you want some money to go see a video? Where's your mother? She's at home washing her tights. It's like,
go see a
what
Star
are you talking
Wars.
about, Dad? Yeah.
Plus, the thing is that this is again the Joker stuck in the past because, well, to be fair, I imagine, But this Batman doesn't particularly wear tights. He's more thinking of the Adam West Batman. But he's unaware of the fact that if there were tights involved, Bruce wouldn't be washing them. It'd be Alfred. And another thing is, it's like, well, by 1989, they had washing machines. Like, I'm pretty sure you could pop his tights in. Although I've never had to wash tights.
Yeah, but it's still classified as a delicate.
Yeah, I mean, and nothing beats that scrub.
Is it a hand washing kind of situation, or?
I think it has to be. I mean, when you think about where those tights are and the amount of physical activity he's doing, you're going to want to get in there and really make sure. And also, you don't want them to run. You don't want to throw it in the dryer. All of a sudden, you got a big run up your tight and you got to go out and stop the Joker. And all of a sudden, no one's looking at anything except for your gnarly ass tight.
So either he's washing them or he's changing them every time he goes out. Which is another, that's wasteful. That's terrible for the environment. Wasteful.
I do feel though you should change your answering machine message, Phoebe, to just just say she's at home washing her tights, and then just people are wondering
money.
Yeah.
But as you say though, he's confused, right? Because but this Batman doesn't wear tights, so he is thinking of the Adam West Batman, which makes no sense. Exactly, is that a thing?
What if all these Batman are what if they have all existed throughout the course of Batmanhood, started with Adam West and everyone's going after him, and then they just kind of tag out?
Yeah. Oh,
I like that idea.
But that'd be cool if then, they didn't tell anyone that they'd changed.
Right,
well, I mean,
exactly.
they didn't tell, but nobody knew. So they just
Everyone's
think, this Batman's
dumb.
eternal.
Yeah. It's kind of like a hamster in a classroom. One Batman dies and you just switch one in and the kids will never know.
Completely different color. No, he just changed his coat. It's fine.
Yeah.
So, I can imagine maybe though it's because the Joker knows this guy's a superhero. I know superheroes, they wear tights like Superman or something like that. But then that brings up the question of within this universe of Batman, do superheroes exist outside of? Is this like oh, this guy's some psycho in a bat suit, or is it like oh, it's kind of like he's doing what Wonder Woman does, only he's dressed up as a bat? Is there any concept of superheroism?
I guess that's where you get into the Justice League, right? And I know nothing about any of this, but wouldn't that just sort of be when that starts happening, when Superman and all those other guys show up?
Well, that makes sense, like in other Batman movies, but this movie seems very much to me to be isolated.
Well, I'm not even talking so much about like them actually existing in universe as people. I'm talking about like, could you go into Gotham and get like a Superman comic?
Oh, a comic book.
Yeah.
Oh, I see what you're saying. Some self-referential reality.
Yeah, so he's like, I saw that old George Reeves show. It was Superman and his tights. Is that maybe that he's getting from that idea? Or
now that makes more sense. I like that. That would be pretty cool.
I like that a lot.
If he actually said that.
So that would make obviously in continuity later on when the Clooney Batman does like, this is why Superman works alone. He could still be referring to that, at the time you're like, holy shit, Superman exists in this universe. He could still be like, I saw that old George Reeves Superman serials.
Yeah.
He always worked alone.
I'm sorry. I'm trying to like wrap my brain around it. And because then someone would sort of, it makes sense. Because why wouldn't there be fan art about Superman? He's kind of a big deal. And then someone just kind of adds words to it. And all of a sudden, you got newspaper stacks full of Batman comic books.
Oh,
you call it a day. Yeah. I don't know.
I love it when they do that.
Just
when there's like in the movie a reference to people, understanding that the character. I'm trying to word this. I'm trying to wrap my head around it, but you know what I mean. When a bit like you get a comic book in the movie of the character from the movie.
It's a really Inception. Yeah, it's very Inception-y. I'm surprised Christopher Nolan didn't do this with his Batman.
What it was the thing I think actually, because I did a guest spot on Watchmen Minute there just last night. I was again talked about something similar of like you have Night Owl in that. And I don't think in the comic books they mention Batman, but in the opening credits you do see Night Owl with a Batman comic book cover behind him. So it's like, oh, he is. This character within the movie, at least, is intentionally ripping off Batman. So it's
I like it.
Yeah. But anywho, I will also note that because then we do get the sound of the Batwing soaring above. It reminded me. It doesn't sound exactly like it, but I thought it sounded quite similar to the Martian ships in Mars Attacks. I was like, oh, I wonder if Tim Burton did a little. I like that obviously going for a generic UFO sound, but I like that Batwing sound we had as well. I might try to mix that into the sound.
It is very similar, actually. I hadn't connected the two, but yeah, I can hear it.
I haven't watched Mars Attacks in so long. I love it. I love that movie.
That's one of these weird things. Like apparently the world hates Mars Attacks, except when you meet people, and everyone I know loves it. It's weird.
Dude, yeah, everybody hates on it.
It's the same with Ghostbusters 2. Like everyone online is like, "Oh, Ghostbusters 2." I've never met a person in real life who didn't love Ghostbusters 2.
Same.
It's crazy.
I don't think I've seen it.
Oh my god, that's another one. That's your week's mission then. Watch those two.
It gets you back for Batman Returns. You're like, by the way, Ghostbusters 2, pile of shit. And then just leave it at that.
Well, with regards to this Batman, we get one last shot here, don't we? We get a huge, mad Joker laugh now. And he looks to the skies as the Batwing begins to zoom across the parade. But then it ends.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. And that's us. I think that's all the notes I got. I do have other stuff on the Batwing, but again, we have to spread out info on the Batwing because we're going to be spending some time with it. So I'll leave it to the later minutes, I think.
Yes, smart plan. Let me see. No, I've got no other notes either, so we'll wrap up. Before we go, Phoebe, where can our good listeners find you and get in touch with you?
Find me on Instagram at Phoebe Bottoms and Twitter and Facebook and all your social media platforms for more information.
Yeah, and you can find us in the exact same places, but don't put Phoebe Bottoms if you want us, because that wouldn't work. We are at Batminute 89, strangely enough, believe it or not. And join us again on Friday, because we will round out the week with minute 96 of Tim Burton's Batman.
Next time, a radio-waving rascal
With the crazed crowd collecting complimentary capital fluttering in the night, our cackling cutpurse commands the mic. But what rhinoplasterer-based recommendations will he reveal? If you gotta listen Friday, listen with a smile. Same Bat Pod.
Different Bat Minute.